Welcome everyone. This is the Masterclass. My name is Patricknazareth. I have around 30 years experience in teaching and I hope to be able to clear your doubts if any. Let's get straight to it then, shall we?
We will be looking at the Ball poem by John
We
Berryman.
look at the poet, John Berryman. He was born on October the 25th, 1914. He was an American. He has won the Pulitzer Prize as well as the National Book Award. His father shot himself when John was a very young boy, when John was only 13. So he changed his name, but was a victim to alcoholism. He drank a lot throughout his life. He committed suicide on January the 7th, 1972, by jumping off a bridge into the Minnesota River. What is the boy now who has lost his ball? What? What is he to do? I saw it go, merrily bouncing down the street, and then merrily over. There it is in the water. No use to say, oh, there are other balls. An ultimate shaking grief fixes the boy as he stands rigid, trembling, staring down all his young days into the harbor where his ball went. I would not intrude on him. A dime, another ball, is worthless. Now he senses first responsibility in a world of possessions. People will take balls. Balls will be lost always, little boy, and no one buys a ball back. Money is external. Let's go over the first four lines now. So now we are discussing a boy who has lost his ball. And the poet is asking, what is the boy to do? He must have been sitting at his window or standing on the street or sitting on a park bench and he saw the ball bouncing, bouncing, bouncing. It went down the street and then it went over the street into the water. So it tells us we are talking about a street that is by the side of the sea. The next four lines, no use to say there are other balls. In other words, we cannot explain to the boy that, listen, your ball is gone. There are other balls in the world. Because the boy himself is grief stricken. His ball, his plaything is lost. So he stands rigid. He's a boy. He's trying his level best not to cry. He wants his ball back. But he can see that it has gone into the sea. It has gone into the harbor. Therefore, there is no way for him to get it back. It continues. The poet did not see the need to go up to him and say, listen, I'm sorry you lost your ball. He did not see the need to offer him any money. That time, a ball cost a dime. So he could have given him a dime and said, here, little boy, go get another ball. He did not do that. Because he understood the boy's grief. The boy does not want a ball. The boy wants his ball. The ball that went into the water. Okay? And the boy now senses the first responsibility. In other words, the boy realizes, my ball, I was responsible for it. I was playing with it. I lost it. So in a world of possessions, this is what is going to happen to people like us, people like you and me. We are going to buy things. We are going to lose things. And when we do that, we are going to feel grief, just like this little boy. It also says people will take balls. It doesn't mean a ball in the sense of playing ball. It basically means people will take things from you that you like just because they can. Things that you like will be lost, just like this ball has been lost. And you cannot get what you have lost back because money is just external. It cannot replace what you have lost. For example, you go for a holiday, you take photographs, you come back, you lose those photographs. Those photographs are lost forever, right? You cannot get them back no matter how much money you're prepared to pay. You could go on another holiday to the same place and take the same photographs in the same place, but will it be the same? The poem goes on. He is learning, well behind his desperate eyes, the epistemology of loss. How to stand up, knowing what every man must one day know, and most know, many days. How to stand up. So these lines tell us that the poet is understanding what the boy is going through. He can understand what is going on behind those eyes, the grief-stricken eyes of the boy in his brain, where the boy is processing his loss, the loss of his ball. And he's learning how to cope with it. He's learning not to cry over it. He's fighting his tears. And every one of us one day has to learn how to deal with loss. Not just how to deal with loss, how to stand up to it, how to get over it. Must have been night time, it is dark, it is evening, and now the lights have been put back. The lights have been put on, the street lights have been put on. There are boats in the harbor. One of them is blowing its whistle and the ball is vanished. It's out of sight. Now, the next 5 lines. Soon part of me will explore the deep and dark floor of the harbor. I am everywhere. I suffer and move. My mind and my heart move. With all that move me under the water or whistling, I am not a little boy. Okay, now see, the poem shifts over here. The poem shifts from the perspective of the boy who has lost his ball. Because it was a very narrow perspective, we were only looking at the boy. Now it becomes universal. It widens. It comes back to the speaker, the poet himself. And the poet is not only including himself, he's including everyone. All of us are going to feel loss. All of us are going to feel that grief. And each and every one of us will suffer. I might lose something, you might lose something. It will not be the same thing, but the loss, that grief, that sadness will be there. And that suffering will be there. And all of us must move through that suffering. You cannot sit and suffer. If you lose something, you must continue living. You must continue going through the motions of living until time heals your wounds. So whether it is superficial, in other words, things that happen on a daily basis, or whether it is very deep, things that happen and we carry with us. For example, something superficial could be the loss of a ball like this boy has gone through, the loss of a pen, the breaking of a mobile phone, and something deep, like for example, the loss of a loved one. Maybe you loved a dog which died. A loss is deeply personal, and only the person who feels that loss can understand that loss. But that loss itself links all of humanity, links all of us together, because each and every one of us face losses daily. And none of us whistle. Whistling is left to children. Why? Because I am not a little boy. None of us are little. We have all grown up. We must all learn to deal with our own personal problems, our own personal loss. The theme of this poem then, growing up, becoming an adult, experiencing grief and loss as part of our daily lives and learning to live with the suffering that it brings. And also understanding that responsibility, that what is ours, if we have lost it, it is our fault. If something material, if we break a mobile phone, if we lose our pen, it is our fault. And we have to accept responsibility for that. No matter how sad we are, no matter how grief-stricken we are, we have to suffer through that loss. We have to suffer through the consequences of that loss. That's the end of the lesson. If I have been of any help to you, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Remember, there might be other people out there who will need our help.